Welcome to the Dog Pound. Hoo, 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 hoo.
Founder, innovator. Paul Brown was all of that and more. Brown built Cleveland into the NFL's dominant team of the 1950s. He later coached the Cincinnati Bengals with the same intensity.
You can do better than that, Pat. 5-man, here comes the Okie Verge.
Paul Brown was a pioneer who helped create what we now call the modern era of pro football.
Max Speedy played 7 seasons with the Cleveland Browns as an end. He led the league in receptions in 4 of them.
Max Speedy, the league's leading pass receiver, helped put the Browns back in the game. Max shook himself loose and maneuvered free and clear to snag a Graham pass for a touchdown.
Appropriately named Speedy, he played in a championship game every year of his career, winning 5 league titles.
At center from Marshall College, weighing 240 pounds, Frank Gatzke.
Known as the Gunner, Frank Gatzke anchored an offensive line that powered the Cleveland Browns to 11 championship games in 12 years. From high school through the pros, Gatzke never missed a game or practice. He helped clear the path to Canton for teammates Marion Motley and Otto Graham. And fittingly, he joined them with his enshrinement in 1985. As quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, Otto Graham led his team to the championship game in each of his 10 seasons. No other quarterback can match that record. In the 1954 championship, Graham accounted for 6 touchdowns, 3 running and 3 passing. 1 year later, in his final career game, Automatic Otto orchestrated a rout of the Los Angeles Rams for championship number 7. In the NFL, the bottom line is championships, and Otto Graham is the ultimate big gamer. Tackle and kicker Lou Groza was a versatile contributor to the early success of the Cleveland Browns. Groza, who wore numbers 76 and 46, was an all-NFL tackle 6 times. His use of tape to practice his kicks helped him score 1,608 points in 21 years. But Browns fans will always remember him for the last-second field goal that won the 1950 World Championship.
Groza will attempt the field goal. It'll be 15 yards. He puts the ball. It's up in the air. Score!
Nicknamed Glue Fingers, Dante Lavelli was one of Coach Paul Brown's first deep threats. Lavelli caught 11 passes, including 2 touchdowns, to help the Cleveland Browns win their first NFL championship in 1950. Quarterback Otto Graham felt comfortable throwing to the sure-handed and quick-footed receiver for good reason.
I like my own tactics of how to play it, I like the offensive side of football. Let the defense stop me. That's the way I feel.
A devastating pass blocker, Marion Motley was the inspiration for the Cleveland Browns' famed trap play. At 6'1" and 240 pounds, Motley trampled opposing defenses. Motley was equally impressive catching passes. Number 76 was the first big back capable of turning short throws into long gains and touchdowns. Motley attended high school in Canton, and he is there forever in the Hall of Fame. Bill Willis, one of the first black players in the All-America Football Conference, earned lasting acclaim as a defensive middle guard. Willis played for the league championship in each of his 8 seasons with the Browns, and he is honored to be in Canton.
It's a tremendous feeling. And of course, when you think of the reason why you're in the Hall of Fame, it's even more meaningful. You become immortal.
The Brown defensive line, one of the finest in the business, took the opposition in stride. The ends rushed and centermen Bill Willis and Bob Gain drove through to hammer down the passer.
Mike McCormick began his career as a defensive lineman, but he demonstrated his versatility by moving to offensive tackle with Cleveland. McCormick was equally adept at pass protection and run blocking. He also was an outstanding leader and served as the Browns team captain from 1956 until he retired. Len Ford entered pro football as a two-way end, but in 1950 he began playing defense exclusively and became a 5-time All-Pro with the Cleveland Browns. The 6'5", 260-pound Ford was so talented, Hall of Fame coach Paul Brown altered his defensive scheme to take advantage of Ford's pass-rushing skills.
Against the Philadelphia Eagles, Lenny Ford proved his greatness as a rushing lineman as he drove Adrian Burke into the goalpost.
Perhaps the most honest, worthy compliments that can be paid a player come from those who played against him. If so, then Jim Brown is without peer. For his skill and will is still looked back on with reverence by those who had the unenviable task of trying to tackle him.
You gang tackled him, you did everything, give him extracurriculars. He'd get up slow, look at you, and walk back to that huddle and wouldn't say a word. Just come at you again and again.
He give you the same look, same smile, come right back at you the next time.
You just say, what the hell? What's wrong with this guy? For heaven's sake, when is he going to stop carrying the ball? How much more can he take?
Playing possum, and I knew it. I used to tell him, I said, man, get up and get back to the huddle. You're running over people out here.
You couldn't intimidate him. Sam Huff tried that, but it didn't work.
You hit him, you knock him down, he would get up, he'd look you straight in the eye and he'd say, nice tackle, Big Sam. And you'd say, you know, you want to be mad at him. You want to be angry at the guy that you're playing against because it's an emotional game. Nice tackle, Big Sam.
It's the way to go, Deke. Come at it back. You hate that. You know, I'd rather him call me a nasty name.
You know, he used to talk slow. Sam, why y'all do this to me? You know, the next play, he'd run 80 yards. He was just a horse. That's what he was.
Bobby Mitchell was one of pro football's most distinctive and elusive runners. As a halfback, wide receiver, or kick returner, number 49 was a threat each time he touched the football. In 1959, Mitchell ran through the Redskins for 232 yards on just 14 carries. 3 years later, he would join the Redskins and earn All-Pro honors. Mitchell's versatility allowed him to showcase his many skills and made him one of the most exciting players in the NFL.
It has been said that a running back is only as good as his blockers. Luckily for 3 Cleveland Brown Hall of Famers, they had one of the best blockers of all time. From 1958 through 1973, guard Gene Hickerson was a lead blocker for future enshrinees Jim Brown, Bobby Mitchell, and Leroy Kelly. Hickerson used speed and toughness to become one of the most dominant offensive linemen of his era. His ability to get in front of the ball carrier made him an imposing presence to defensive players. He earned 5 first-team All-NFL honors and was voted to 6 consecutive Pro Bowls. Throughout his entire career, the Browns never had a losing season. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2007.
After the retirement of Jim Brown in 1966, Leroy Kelly finally got his chance to shine. Over the next 7 seasons, Kelly led Cleveland in rushing and was the focal point of the Browns' offense. During his era, no back exploded from his stance or hit the hole faster than Kelly. He possessed the agility to fake out would-be tacklers and the power to blast through defenders at the goal line. And Kelly retired with over 7,000 career rushing yards. A native of Warren, Ohio, Paul Warfield was a first-round draft choice of the Cleveland Browns in 1964. Over his 13-year career, Warfield averaged over 20 yards per catch and scored 86 touchdowns. In 1970, Warfield was traded to Miami, where he appeared in 3 Super Bowls and was part of their undefeated 1972 team. He went back to Cleveland in 1976 and retired as a member of the Browns. Known as the Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Newsome retired as the NFL's all-time leading tight end receiver. For 13 seasons, Newsome was the physical and spiritual leader of the Cleveland Browns. He was one of only 5 players to play in 3 different decades for the Browns. Playing in 198 consecutive games, Newsome was a vital member of the Browns teams that reached the AFC Championship 3 times. In 1989, his streak of catching at least 1 pass in 150 straight games was stopped. A 2-time All-Pro and 3-time Pro Bowler, Ozzie Newsome will always be remembered as one of the greatest. Guard Joe DeLamielleure was the anchor of 2 all-time great offensive lines. The Electric Company in Buffalo turned on the juice, running back O.J. Simpson. Joe also led an offensive line in Cleveland that blocked for NFL MVP Brian Sipe and 1,000-yard rusher Mike Pruitt. DeLamielleure would never miss a single game in his entire NFL career, one that was filled with personal awards. An 8-time All-Pro, he played in 6 Pro Bowls and was named the Offensive Lineman of the Year in 1975.
Selected 3rd overall by the Browns in 2007, tackle Joe Thomas more than lived up to his lofty draft status. Known for his agility, strength, and durability, Thomas started 167 straight games and played an NFL record 10,363 consecutive snaps.
Let's go, Josh. Let's go get a score and put a smile on our face.
The first offensive lineman in NFL history selected to the Pro Bowl in each of his first 10 seasons.
He's to the 30. He is gone.
Thomas was a 6-time first-team All-Pro and is a member of the NFL's All-Decade team of the 2010s.
Woo-hoo!